Hello my cutiest of all cutienesses! Here I am again with another video for you, and this is part 2 in my makeup application tools explanation videos. This is all about the small brushes and the application tools that you use to do your eye makeup and lips and the brows and the lashes, as you know. Well, if you want to see how I explain all of this, you'll just have to keep on watching as it's getting started right now. So, in the first part, I told you I hope a lot about the brushes and sponges and stuff that you use to do your facial makeup. Well, now today I want to talk to you about the small sized brushes or tools. And I'm gonna really dive into it. The first thing I do is eyebrows. If you are like me and I have shaved my brows so that I can reshape them for any look that I do, any angled brush that you might get with your products, like this one. But I love using these big ones from sets, or you can buy them separately, but they are very soft. And this is a real brow brush, which is foldable, and it came with my brow gel. Now, either if you do your brows with a gel or with powder, or first a gel and then a powder, or first a powder to map them out and then fill them in with a gel, whatever you do, you normally first comb up the hairs, which I now don't have. You've got your spoolies. A spoolie, it's actually a spiral with hairs in it, which is very nice to comb up your brows and to lay them where you want to have them. In most sets, as you see, you can have, like this one, it's the angled brush and the spoolie in one. You will often find these with your brow products. So the first brush I'm going to use is a brow brush. Now, even though I don't have brows, I use a spoolie just to go through that front part so that it has the illusion that it fades and starts from hairs. Suppose that I have made that mistake. That is why people clean up. And I take a concealer that I actually don't use on my face because the color is a bit off. But to clean up a brow, I don't care that much. Now, this is a brow lining brush. It's very straight cut, but in an angle. And it's very thin, so you can compare it to a brow brush, but it is its bigger brother. And you take concealer on that brush, and with that, you're gonna clean up your brows. So what I most of the time do is make a line so that I can see that they start at the exact same height. And you clean up your eyebrow with this type of brush. So this brush applies concealer whilst cleaning up very fine lines. But as you see, I put this with this brush perfectly against my brow, and then I can drag it down where I can blend it in with my fingers or with another brush, or in a moment when I do my eye primer I can blend it in with that. And also the upper part, if you want to have a boxy brow or just need to clean up a little bit, this brush is specifically for that. Now, of course, if you want, you can draw your brows on with this brush too. It's really cleaning up the mess actually. So that's a brow defining brush. What I do next is use this concealer to prime my eyelids. And to prime your eyelids, they are very flat, but the difference with a brow brush is that these are rounded off at the corners. I'm now going to use this smaller size as I prefer that. And I'm going to prime my eyelids. And once I have applied that, I go over with a beauty blender. So I buff in that product very well onto my eyelid. And as you see, the way I do it, you have a color difference between the two concealers, but that's not so important because there's gonna be highlighter on top. So it's all just building up from one product and brush for that product to another. These brushes are from the same sets that I spoke about in my first video. So watch that video if you're interested in prices, in brands, in stuff like that. Now, you can set this with translucent powder, and you're gonna use a soft, fluffy blending brush for that. But I'm immediately gonna go into this light beigey color, which I'm gonna use as my transition color, and I'm gonna bring that up to the brow bone. If you don't want your primer to crease, you'd best immediately set it with a powder. So now my eyes are prepared for eyeshadows. When I was a kid and my mom used every once in a while a little bit of makeup, this thing, it's actually a sponge, is what was used in the 70s and 80s, and it was such a mess. It's actually good if you want to have a grungy, smudged out look, but to nicely apply makeup, I'm sorry. It is not my thing. It's definitely not my thing. These are all fluffy brushes. One a bit more dense than the other. The shorter the bristles, the more stiff they get because they're pressed together. That is normal logic. But if they are a bit longer and round, you got a very fluffy blending brush. So this is a small one, this is a bigger one, and it's angled. The one I used before, this one that I just used, is a real wonderful good blending brush. And there's still that white powder coming out. Now it's clean. My table isn't. But these are all the normal fluffy blending brushes. But to apply, most of them are flat and more dense. This one is very dense. That is perfect to pack on colors. But now I'm gonna start with a fluffy applyment brush, and I'm gonna take a first color. So I'm gonna start in the crease with a yellow. If you want to have it more wide, what you're gonna do is start by putting it in the crease, and you turn your brush so that you have that wider edge to blend it upwards so that you have it higher in your crease. And to really blend it out, we take again a blending brush that softens out the edges. I'm gonna move on to a little bit of a flatter brush. It's the same size just about, and I'm diving into a light green. And if you build up with packing motions, you're gonna have the least amount of fallout. Damn, my video stopped and now I was so panicking. So as you see, the shorter the bristles are, the more dense the brush is, and the better you have control about where you pack your product. I'm feathering out this dark green, which you can do by holding the brush a little bit more flat. And of course, blend everything out very well. There, for now, that is this eye. I'm gonna finish the other one and then we'll move on. Okay, so With just a wet wipe, I am cleaning off a little bit where I do not want to have eyeshadow right now. So that is also a makeup tool that I use. Dry tissues, cotton tips, and wet tissues. A round tapered brush is also ideal to pack in your crease. And you've got your double ender, which is very dense on one side and more fluffy on the other side. These you often get with a makeup palette. This to apply and this to blend. A blending brush and the appliement brush. This for face paint and body paint. These in my normal makeup, because there is no better brush than a paint brush like this with a tip to put into your crease and to blend upwards and downwards, and it is blended and applied in the very best way ever. And you can press them together so that you've got a flat brush, or you can use them really in your crease and everything is so well blended. Take another fluffy brush. Before I do the cut crease, I'm gonna darken this corner up with black eyeshadow. Not to make it black, but it's gonna make that green more like a moss green. And with this brush you can pack it on really in that corner and blend it a little bit into the crease. So to make a cut crease, a flat round brush, I'm taking this concealer. So what I'm gonna do is bring this up, and now I'm gonna give a tip that's got nothing to do with brushes, but people with hooded eyes, I normally go in my crease till there, just the lower part here. But if you've got hooded eyes and you do that, it's gone. So put a layer on your eyelid and close your eyes and squeeze them as far as you can, and this will transfer to there. And that is where you see where your hooded eyes will hide everything. So you know that you're gonna have to go a little bit higher than that to have it visible. So I'm going high now as a tip for people with hooded eyes, and I'm gonna stop right there. Then I'm gonna take the brush with a dark green in it, and I'm gonna tab that blends the edge of that concealer. These are the same brushes, I'm just taking a smaller one. So I'm taking a very light silver, and because the size of this brush, you can go really just against the edge of your concealer, and it really packs it on. You can really stick that powder into that concealer, which makes it the best application that you can, because it's really gonna stick onto it. And then you take a second brush, it doesn't matter from which brand or what it is, just another one. So from silver we go to champagne, and as I said, with brushes like this you can perfectly line that upper edge, but press your product into your concealer. And with the flatness of the brush you can feather the edges. And I normally tab over with my finger, because that are tools too, you know, your fingers. And you've got a fade, and we are gonna line that off too. That's with a different brush. There, that is already a nice cut creased look. What I want to do is line my eyes. You've got, as we used in the beginning for the brows, your flat angled brush. You also have the smallest flat brushes, which are also perfect for eyeliner. This is on one side an angled brush and on this side a small appliement brush. This is a very soft liner. This small rounded brush, it's like a tulip brush, but I can't remember the name, but I will put it in the video. And the bigger flat brush. And you've got your angled special liner brushes. These. And this is a cream eyeliner. So I start off with a flat angled brush. We've just used a lot of concealer and put some powder over it. But that powder and maybe the concealer too will clog up completely the tip of your felt tip liner. Your felt tip liner is okay to make your tip, or if you want to work a lot finer than this, you've got your liquid eyeliner with a brush or an applicator that's very fine. And this liquid is much more fluid than a gel liner. It's much easier to make very straight lines with, but if you choose to use your cream by itself, I would set it with a powder. With this you can make a much finer detail if your angled brush is not the highest quality like the ones that come with these creams. The biggest variations that you have with these products is that some of them, instead of a brush, it's like a felt tip liner. It's a hard applicator, and that is good if you want to make a very straight, harsh line, but to make flowy lines, I prefer the ones with a brush. I want to show you a black eyeliner. This one is by MAC and it's a twistable one. You also have your normal pencils, which you sharpen. A kohl pencil is the most beautiful black that you can have, but I will show you in the middle part what this does. It does the same. You don't have to sharpen it. Always ready for use. And then you use your bullet brush. I'm gonna apply green with this bullet brush, but what you need to define your lower liner is a stiff, flat brush. This one is a bit too thick. This is one, but it's angled. But I want to have this one. And I'm gonna use the bright green with that, because you can lay it flat without dragging the black or anything down. You can smudge it with a color that you apply just underneath the black, and that you can even bring underneath your wing. As you see, you can really work it off with a brush like this, or if you like, with the angled brother. There you go. And now you've got your smudged lower eyelid. I am using a lip brush to apply glitter cream to have that extra oomph, you know, that extra oomph. And then with a very fine liner brush, and you're gonna laugh, a metallic lip glow. And with that I'm gonna make the line above my cut crease, and I let it stop right there, and I'm not even bringing it to the inner corner. I'm just using it to make a line. A very small, tight brush goes a longer way than a blending brush, because you don't mess up the bristles as much as you do with a blending brush. This is used for fine work, and a blending brush, yeah, the word says it itself. A blending brush gets a lot. Then one of the next brushes, that's actually not a brush but a comb, and I think that it is one of the most important after you've done all of this, and that is a lash comb. You've got them also in the sets where you have a brow comb on one side and a lash comb on the other side, like this. But these plastic ones don't really do the trick. And please always use them like this. Never poke your eye with it, because you're gonna be blinded for life, because these are real serious hard metal spikes. They're like needles. I have this one, which was a very expensive one, but it's not ideal for my eye shape, but it did catch the glue. Now these I prefer because they're smaller and I've got very small eyes, and what the other one didn't catch, this one now has caught. If you do not comb out your lashes and there is makeup on it and you put on your mascara, you're gonna have cluttery lashes. And my next weapon is the lash curler. And this is a tool that is underestimated because it really makes a huge difference when you put on mascara, because they have that C curve. Then you're gonna use mascara. This is the normal old-fashioned mascara wand. Then what you also have is a lash comb and mascara wand. This has got nothing on this side but little teeth on this side. So it is really a comb that combs through the lashes and in the meantime applies the product, which is perfect if you want to keep your lashes very fine and separated, while a normal applicator will coat very thick, and if you're not careful they will clutter and stick together. The third one that I want to discuss with you is the telescopic wand. It's got 4 rows of little teeth, and that is perfect for your lower lashes because it's so thin and easy to handle that you're not so easy as with another applicator are gonna touch your skin and clutter up your makeup. What I also like to do with a pencil brush, or do that with a flat brush and blend it into the eyeshadows, but I prefer a brush like this so you can work very fine underneath your brow. You can blend it a little bit into your eyeshadow, and I also like it instead of a big brush because you can work a lot finer to highlight your inner tear duct. Now probably I will have forgotten or not mentioned this brush or that brush, so for that I will include a list with all types of brushes that I can find in the end of the video, where you can see pictures of those brushes with the name of the type of brush next to it. So don't run away before you've seen that, okay? Now, in the meantime, I'm gonna do my facial makeup because you've seen me do that 100,000 times. My makeup is done. I wanna show you two tools that most people don't even know about, and that's these two guys. This one is a tweezer in the shape of a scissor, and that is so easy to apply falsies and to put them exactly where you want to have them. But this thing is also scissor shaped, but it is a lash curler, but specifically made to press your own lashes and your falsies in together so that they are really so tight to each other that they're almost one unity. But one thing I want to say about this is don't press it too hard, because you really are gonna cut off your lashes. It's actually made to fit in your crease, so you can push it in the direction of your crease and your lash is, they are rising up to the sky. There are special things that are so handy. They are super duper 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 super great. Now, my lips. This is necessary, especially if you want to have decent worked off lips. And I know that I'm gonna have decently worked off lips because I'm going to clean them up with concealer. So let's see what we're gonna do. First of all, I'm gonna show you the most common lip brushes. This is a simple, normal lip pencil that comes in a set. This funny thing is a lip pencil, which is bigger, and it's got this lid, because when you put it in your purse, the lipstick that is still on it will go into the tube and not on all of your stuff. Now I got this tiny little magical one. You pull it out, and once you push it backwards, ta-da! A brush. So cleanly put away, pull it out, and magic! There's your brush. I've got two of these and they are so handy, and what I do is if I have to touch up my makeup when I am somewhere, I always have a little package of tissues or something, even toilet paper, but toilet paper in a public place, I don't, I'm not the biggest fan of using a toilet paper for my lip brush in a public place. I don't know why, but I'm not very fond of that. But what you can also do is take a wet makeup wipe and put it in a tiny little zip bag. It doesn't take any space in a purse, and you can always clean off your brush before you put it back into your purse, because if you don't clean it, it'll take your lipstick into the tube, and with a cotton bud you can get it clean. But to be honest, that's a little bit too much of a fuss. This fine brush is not a lip brush, but I like to use it as a lip brush. All personal preference again. What I'm gonna do is use a pencil first. I'm taking my brush and I am filling up the tips of the bristles along the applicator of that lip stain, and resting my elbow on the table and my hand against my chin. You can also put a little makeup sponge over your fingers and keep it there. Not a beauty blender, but a little puff, you know. Now I immediately clean off this brush on a makeup wipe because I'm gonna use the same brush for the next color. I'm gonna take this one, dab it on, and leave it like that, and that is so bomb. So gorgeous. The last thing I'm gonna show you is cleaning up. If you use concealer after your makeup is done, you're gonna see a difference. So I'm taking a little pump of my foundation instead of concealer, and I'm using the same brush that I used for my brows. And dab it out with your fingers. There is one little brush that I haven't mentioned, and that is the little fan brush. What I use the little fan brush for is when I do face paint or anything special and I want to use a different color or a cream on my eyelashes, I use this to paint on the colors. So you can use this for a nose highlight or the tip or your cupid's bow or your chin or whatever you like. But I use this only to coat my lashes with a different color. So this is the final result of this second part of my makeup application tools explanation video. Now that's a mouthful if you ask me. Okay, let's breathe for a moment. I really want to thank you all for watching these 2 tutorials with me. I also hope you liked the outcome of the makeup that I did with it. And most of all, I really hope you've learned something and that you have something from the experience of watching these videos with me. So if you're not subscribed to my channel yet, please do so. Leave some nice comments down below. Give me some thumbs up. Ring that notification bell so that you will know every time I upload a new video. And for me, there's as always just one thing left to say, and that is my love for makeup is spread all over to you. And I really hope to see you again soon in one of my coming videos. So for now, bye bye. Sure hope you got that. And that too. And keep on watching for a moment because the list with the brushes will follow after my show off.